Okay, welcome back to my class. We are discussing economic reforms since 1991. In the year 1991, different economic reforms which took place in India, and the economic reform consists of liberalization, it consists of privatization, and it consists of globalization. In the previous class, we have already discussed the liberalization policy of the government of India. So today we'll discuss the meaning, features, and objectives of the privatization policy of the government of India. So let us see what is the meaning of privatization. Privatization means, let us see, transfer of ownership, transfer of management, transfer of control of the government sector to the private sectors. So let us see the definition of the privatization. Privatization refers to transfer of ownership, management, and control of government sector enterprises to the private sector. So let us see. We have to go back to the Industrial Policy Resolution 1956. In the year 1956, when industrial policy was introduced in our country, that time, let us see, that 17 basic and major industries were reserved for the public sector. It means for the government sectors. But these industries, the basic industries, the capital industries, they were not performing. They were not performing well. They were showing losses. They were showing inefficiency into the production. So what the government decided in the year 1991, that government will de-reserve the public sector companies and will convert into the private sectors. So nowadays, let us see, only 3 industries, they are reserved for the public sector, and these 3 industries are defense equipment industries, atomic energy generation, railway transport industries. These are only 3 industries which are reserved for the public sector. Rest of the industries, they are open to the private sector. So government decided the role of the public sector will reduce. It means the industries will reduce from the 17 industries to 3 basic industries, and these 3 industries like railway industries, defense equipment industries, and atomic generation industries, they will be reserved only for the public sector. Rest of the industries will be open to the private sector. So let us see how this government used to convert the public sector companies into the private sector. So I have already written, government companies are converted into private companies in 2 ways. The first way, by withdrawal of the government from the ownership and management of the public sector companies. So government used to withdraw the ownership and the management from the public sector, and the ownership and the management and control is given to the private sectors. And second one is by outright sale of the public sector. There is a complete sale of the public sector to the private sectors. It means the companies which are performing losses, the companies, they shows losses for long period of time, then the company will be sold to the private sectors. So this was the 2-way. And another feature of the this privatization was disinvestment. So government also adopted the policy of disinvestment. Disinvestment is just opposite of investment. So disinvestment policy was being adopted in order to, let us see, collect the resources in order to modernize the industries, or in order to meet the losses into the government budget. We are knowing the government fiscal deficits is there. Government so have to make the payment of the loan and the interest to the institutions from where the government has taken the loan. So in order to return back the loan and the interest, government need the funds. So government started selling the share of the companies. So companies, there are some companies whose share, 100% share were held by the government. Suppose there are some profit earning companies, and the 100% share of that company were held by the government. So what the government decided, the 5% or 10% or 20% of the share of that company will be sold to the private sector, and the money collected will be used for the modernization, for the increase of the efficiency of the company, for the increase of the productivity of the country, for the modernization of the company, for the use of new technologies into the production, or to gather the funds for meeting the government budget. So let us see, this privatization was done for the purpose of the sale is mainly facilitate modernization. In order to modernize that government companies, government used to adopt the policy of disinvestment. Let us see what are the objectives of the privatization. I have written so many objectives are there. I have written only 2 objectives, and the first objective is privatization aims at providing a strong base to the inflow of FDI, foreign direct investment. So government decided that because of the disinvestment, there will be inflow of foreign direct investment. So multinational companies, they will come in our country, they will use their foreign direct investment, they will use their resources, they will bring the technology, they will bring the latest and modern technology, and that technology will be used into the process of production, and the modernization will take place, efficiency will increase, and the productivity will also increase, and our economy will be more and more competitive in the international market. So this was the first objective, to let us see, to encourage the inflow of foreign direct investment. And second, improving the efficiency of public sector undertakings by giving them the autonomy to make decisions. So government also decided that this public sector enterprises, public sector undertakings will be given autonomy, will be given power to take the decisions of the production, to gather the funds, to generate the funds into the market. So they will be given the autonomy, they will be given the power to take the decisions, and in order to let us see, take the decision of the production. So the government, what the government did, government started granting the status like Maharatna, a status like Naratna and Mini Ratna. Some companies, they were given the status of the Maharatnas, some companies were given the status of Naratnas, and some companies were given the status of Mini Ratnas. And the main purpose of providing this status to the companies was to improve the efficiency, to bring the modernization, to use the latest technology, and to increase the production and productivity of the companies. So let us see, in order to improve the efficiency, some public sector companies were granted a special status such as Maharatnas, Naratnas, and Mini Ratnas. I have written only two examples because in the examination, 2 examples are generally asked. Detail is already given in NCERT book, so you can already read in detail the name of the industries. I have written some of the examples of the Maharatna companies, some Naratna companies, and Mini Ratna. 2 examples I have written, and let us see the companies, they were granted the status, they were granted the autonomy, such as the Maharatna was Indian Oil Corporation, then Steel Authority of India Limited, IOC. This is Indian Oil Corporation. This is Steel Authority India Limited. They were granted Maharatnas. Another company, non-Ratna companies, 9 companies, the profit-making companies, they were awarded, they were given the status of Navratnas, and I have written two companies. One is Hindustan Aeronautic Limited, another one is Mahanagar Telephone Nigam Limited. They were given Navratna and many Ratnas, this Bharat Sanchar Nigam Limited, then Airport Authority of India. So BSNL and AAI. So Airport Authority of India, then Bharat Sanchar Nigam Limited. They are the mini Ratna industries. So let us see, this status was given to the to the companies, so that they can take their own decision in order to improve the efficiency of the company, in order to modernize the company, in order to make the use of latest technology into the process of production, so that they can earn more and more profits. They were given the power to generate the funds, to let us say, to generate the funds to that funds can be used for the modernization. I think this privatization policy is clear to all of you. Let us see once again. The privatization refers to transfer of ownership, management and control of government sector enterprises to the private sector. Ownership of the company was transferred from government to private, from public sector to private sector. This was done into the this privatization. I told you the 17 industries were reserved in the year 1956 or till 1991. 70 major industries reserved for the public sector, but they were reduced from 17 to 3. It means de-reservation policy was being made by the government. I think this concept is clear to all of you. Okay, thank you.